welcome back to my channel. I'm Dawn, I'm the Reclusive Crafter. Today we are getting into more Saturday stash busting. I have pulled out some pages that I want to use. These were in an old scrapbook. I don't particularly like them. I can't see me using them for any project specifically. I have already coffee dyed some of them as well. They've come up really nicely as backings, and my intention is to make some journal cards up in the best way that I can. I have also pulled out some old book pages, and I've made a start on this one by cutting it out and getting the best from the design. I think that's actually a really nice design. And then just to take you through this is just some old book pieces that I acquired with some really old designs on them, pictures even. So yeah, I want to go through and try and make use of as many of these as I can. I mean, that's really sweet. I'm not quite sure how that's going to fit. Maybe I could do a horizontal journal card with that one. And there's peoples and more people. They're quite nice. And then this design here with the sheep and I think it's probably a farmer stood at the fencing there, but the text is really nice as well. And then we've got these ones, which apparently is the Emperor and Empress of Austria, many moons ago, I would imagine. And then that's lovely. I'm going to try and cut that out as best as I can and utilise that one. So yeah, let's just go through and have a play and see what we can come up with. So I have already cut up some shapes. These I'm going to cut to a similar size, I think. They are 12 by 12s, and I had cut these into 4 by 6s. I'm wondering, page sizes are normally about 8-inch. So I'm wondering if I might even be able to go to 7-inch, although it will mess up, obviously, not being able to cut this up into regular shapes to use the whole lot. But let's see what we get from it. So that's a 7-inch. And then if I did the others 7 by, can't remember what I said, 6 by 4, didn't I? So if I do this one as a 7 by 5, I might be able to utilise some of these designs a little bit better, although that does make it quite a large journal card, doesn't it? But I suppose that would be okay. I could maybe get away with doing that one a little bit smaller. Let's see how we go. I'll just do another one of these, and I'll see how they can be utilised. And then this one could be used as a side-on belly band perhaps, or even a bookmark. I could make use of that. What does that leave me with here? So that's a 12. What have we got? We've got a 12 by 5. Okay, so I could actually get 3 more out of that if I did 4-inch, couldn't I? Could do some slightly smaller ones for any of the smaller designs that I've got. There we go, that'll do for now. Let's see how we get on with those. So I've got these ones, which are the 4 by 6s. I've now got the 7 by 5s. And these ones I think have ended up at 5 by 4s. So we've got 3 different sizes there to try and utilise as many of these these little designs as I can. If I want to do any more, I've got another couple of pages here, like I say, just from scrapbooks that I really didn't want to use, so I'll pop those to one side, and now we'll have a look and see how best to fit these on. You see, I think that works really nicely there. Yeah, I like that. So I'm going to utilise that one on there. What have we got on this page? This is, I was going to just take her out. So let's have a look and see how she will tear. I want to try and get as much around her as I possibly can. In actual fact, I could also use him, couldn't I? Although a bit close to his hand there. I'll put him to one side for now, and maybe I'll be able to utilise him with something else potentially. But trying to get the two of them together, I think, would have been too big just for a journal card. So, that's nice. I've still got that little man in the background there. And then we shall, how shall we tear this? If I just tear that just there. Lovely. Oops, sorry. And then this one I will take down, I think, to about there. That's quite sweet, isn't it? So what best size is going? The small one's definitely too small. That one would work quite nicely, I think. I think this one might be a bit too big yet. So I'm going to do that one on there. Okay. And then what else have we got? Now then, this one, and now that would actually work really well. I wonder how I can get this one to tear down. Let's have a look. I think that can probably come off about there potentially. And then this side, I think I will try and keep the majority of that in there. And I want it to be clear that that is a bed that little one's sitting in. So that's that side done. And then I can probably get away with, let's try about there on that and see what that will look like. Maybe about there. Is that too much, do you think? That's quite cute, isn't it? Although I'm saying so. I did these at 7, didn't I? So it wouldn't go across the page horizontally anyway, so it would have to tuck into a pocket that way round. I wonder if I might get rid of not sure about this one. If I might, if I took a little bit more off of it, whether or not it might work actually that way round on the smaller one. If I took it to about, if I took it to about there, and then how would that look? that works, doesn't it? And then I can just embellish. So that's what we'll do, I think. So I think I will tear that one to about there. And then this one, see, look how that's ripping. It's very fragile paper. They obviously came from some really old books. I don't know that I'm going to be able to get this off, actually. Oh, might do. Might do. There we go. Okay. Those little snippets might just end up in the bin. Right, how does that look? I think I can make that work. I'm going to make it work. So that's 3 done. Let's have a look and see. I'll just have a look at one more for now, because I'm conscious of using up lots of time, because I could literally sit here and do this all of the live long day. I love this. I think we will use this one, and then I'll make a start on embellishing and doing some bits and pieces. I'm just going to hold this up to the light and just see how much of that I need to trim. Okay. I'm going to actually tear this one instead of using the ruler. I'm not quite sure how this is going to work, but we shall see. It literally takes no effort at all to tear. That works nicely. And to bring this one up about there, I think. And then we'll have a look and see if we've got enough of it off. Let's have a look. Okay. So that works height-wise, doesn't it? I think I probably need a bit more off down that side. I'm going to take that one off. And bring it round. How's that? Almost there. Almost there. Yeah, I'm going to take that down there. That's nice. I quite like the unevenness of that as well. That's really nice. Lovely, like that, happy with that. So we're gonna work with that and see how we go. So these ones can just go to the side now, because I'm not going to use them. Well, I will be using them, but not right now for this video. So I'll just tuck those over there out of the way. Let me pop those down there, and then I've got some room to work with. Lovely. Okay. So those are the four. Let me just get my glue book out of the way, because we're not gluing just yet. So those are the 4 bits I want to use. And now I'm going to have a look and see what we can embellish with. So I've got lots of bits and pieces in here. I do want to inject a little, oh, that shouldn't be in there, that's a little envelope. I do want to inject a little bit of colour along the way, and I think in this little tub here I have got a few little bits that might work. Books, for instance, might work. Let's have a look and see what we've got. Might be able to use that. I hope you're all having a lovely Saturday. I've not got a lot on. Well, I say I've not got a lot on. my other half has gone out for the morning, so it's left with my morning to be with you guys, and then probably this afternoon is going to be filled up with all the normal sort of exciting chores that you have to do over the weekend when you work full time, which is nice. I wonder if I can make use of that anywhere. That might work. I'll throw that into the pot. That's maybe a bit too big. Oh, those might work nicely. I might try those. Might pull that out and have a look at that or that. Some of you will recognise a lot of these embellishments from the Scrimping Mummy collections. And I've also pulled these from lots of other collections as well. Might try and use some of that, maybe cut it down a little bit. Little book there. I'm just pulling these out just to kind of interview them with the card and see how they work really. I'm certainly not going to be using all of them, but just to give me a variety of bits and pieces to try and work with. Lots and lots of little bits and pieces that you acquire along the way. Okay, right, that's that one. What have we got in here? These are more labels. Quite like that one. I want to try and inject a little bit of colour along the way as well. See how we get on with that. And there's a little one of those which might work with something. Okay, let's have a look and see how we go. So we've got this one. Because we've got the peachy pinky background here, I think that sort of envelope might work nicely, as will this. If I cut that down, maybe, how about that one up there and that one there, or even that one up there, although that's getting on her head. I don't really want it on her head, to be honest with you. No, not enough room for that up there, so we'll pop that one there, I think. I quite like the rose and the pink again. That's rather cute. I think I'd like a little bit of text, if we can pop maybe a little strip of text underneath there. What do you think? Let me pop a little bit of text underneath there. Quite like that. I'm just going to take that down. Take that down there. And then that will go under that side there, which I think works nicely. And then I'll just cut off the edge bit there. Quite like that. Do we need anything else on there? I don't really feel... Oh. That looks nice, doesn't it? Okay, let's stick those down, see where we go from there. Okay, so there's bits there, and that bit there. So I want this piece. Yeah, it's still very overcast outside. The weather's really turned autumnal, and it's been quite cold this week. Although weather forecasts are saying it's going to get warmer again next week, but who knows? Who jolly well knows? Oh, my desk is just not big enough for this sort of thing. Let's want that to go down there. That over there. Where's my little scissors? There they are. Okay. Cut that there. And cut that there. Yeah, so just a little craft along for today with a little bit of stash busting, using up my bits and pieces. Okay, like that. And now I want that on there. I think we said we're going to try that one up there, didn't we? Right, I'm going to cut this one down. Maybe cut that across there. Let me just very gently put a little bit of inking around this. It tears really, really easily. I don't want to ruin the picture. But I just want a little bit of a definition between this and the card. There we go. Let's have a look and see how that looks. I'm happy with that. Let me just pop a bit of glue on there. Yeah, so I'm not actually working on any specific project at the moment, which is quite nice. I'm concentrating at the moment on building up some of my ephemera bits and pieces, so that when I do start a project, I've potentially got bits and pieces that I can just pull out and use or adapt for the project that I'm working on. That's my plan. I don't know if that's actually going to work or not, or if I'll just end up with boxes and boxes of ephemera that I won't use, but I don't suppose I will. I didn't position that very well at all, but it'll do. Nice. Okay, got ink all over my finger. Right then, let's pop a little bit of ink round here. I'm not sure at the moment how I want this particular one placed. I maybe cut it a bit too prematurely, to be perfectly honest, but never mind, we'll work with it. Okay, that's that one. Sticky book. Helps if you don't lose your card in the process, doesn't it? Right, do we want that one there? I think that's maybe a little bit better than, yeah. Although, do I want, getting the positioning sometimes exactly how you want it. I think that'll work. Let me just cut that off. Like so. Cut those little bits off there. And cut that bit off there. fingers. Yep, like that. That's pretty. I was going to put that one up there, wasn't I? Let me pop a little bit of ink around this one again, just to take the newness away from it more than anything. Lovely. And then that one. Oh, do you know, I'm bitten about this one. I don't know. I think I'll pop that on there. It's a job to decide sometimes. And for those of you that have watched any of my videos, you will know that this is probably the worst bit for me. I am just so indecisive about what I want. Sometimes I have a really clear picture, and other times I faff around forever trying to work out exactly where we're going with something. But then I suppose that's the art of creativity, isn't it? There we go, got bits now. There we go. Lovely. I'm not talking very much today. It's because I'm giving this a lot of thought. Yeah, I'm just working by the seat of my pants, I think. Trying to work out what's going to look okay. So let's trim that off. Let's trim that one off. And let's just trim that little bit there. Okay. And I think, wonder if I've got a little label that might go along there and just finish that little bit off, maybe. That's too much. And that's too much. That's maybe too big. Oh, pity I haven't got a little one of those. That might have worked quite nicely. That's too big. Where's my book of little bits? Let's see what we've got in here. That's quite nice. Nope, I don't want that one. Kind of like a longish, thinnish. Maybe, I don't know. It's tough, isn't it? Quite like that one. Let's just have a quick flick just to see if there's anything else I fancy. No, I think that's probably the one I'm going to go with. I'm just going to take off those little white edges. There we go. Now just pop a little bit of glue on there. There we go. Okay. Pop that there. There we go. Let's give my corners a little bit of a round off. I do like rounded corners on journal cards. And then what we can also do, when I know how and where that's going to be used, I can put a little tab on that, either on one side or on the top, dependent on where it's going to go. What do you think? That's quite cute, actually. Quite like that. So we'll pop that under there while it's drying to flatten it out. And let's have a look at this one now. I wonder if I can use this, because this is a really pretty header. Not quite sure how it's going to play out. In my head it's working really well, but it means nothing. There we go, that bit can go in the bin, I think. Okay, so I wonder if I can get that there. I maybe could get a little bit more off of that side. No, it's not going to work, is it? Let me have a look. Will it work on here? That's a pity, isn't it? It's just a little bit too big. I could always scan it and reduce the size of it if I wanted to use it for other things, couldn't I? That might be an idea. Although, I think that... Let me just pop that one aside for a moment. Like that. I'm going to ink this down. Okay, and I'm going to ink this one as well. I'm wondering if maybe a bit of lace would work better rather than labels. That might be an option, mightn't it? Layer up with a little bit of lace with maybe a label over the top. That might be an option. So that there. Let me grab some lace out and see what that looks like. Let me just move all these bits and pieces aside, because I quite like that as well. Okay, let's have a look and see what I've got in the way of lace that I can use. Oh, pretty peach one here, which might work with that background. So I'm going to take that to there and that to there, because I like the colouring. I think the colour works really well with the card. There we go. Okay, so we'll try that, and then we'll work out where the dickens it's going to go. Oh, come on, in you go. There we go. Lovely. Come on. There we go. Right then. Okay. So, I'll just pop that up out of the way for now. Right then, so we've got that, and I'm thinking that there, that there. Maybe a bit of a label at the top there. Although this kind of detracts from actually needing a label, I feel. I wonder what else have I got that I could maybe pop along the top there. Let's have a look, see. What is this? Okay. Like that. Let's see if we can make that work. Okay, let's have a look, see. So we want that one there, we want that about there, we want that about there, and we want that one there. Oh, let's just stick it down and see where we go. Honestly, this is so hard. Why is it so hard to do these things? Do you know, I watch other crafters and I think, oh gosh, they make it all look so easy. And yet I'm so indecisive. It's like, and I think that's the trouble. I think I overthink things far too much, to be perfectly honest. Have I now put that in the right place? Yeah, I'm happy with that placing. I don't think I would have been able to do a lot about it even if I didn't, to be honest with you, because it is so fragile. Right, I want that to go about there. I'm going to pop that one about there. That's nice. Okay, sticky, 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 sticks. Then we want this one. I think I'm going to pop that one there. I know I didn't ink the other card, did I? I might go back and do that in a bit. Ink the other card. There we go. That's that one done. I think what I will do is when I've popped this one together, I'm going to do the other two that I've got offline, and then I'll come back and I'll show you the completed ones when they're done, because honestly, sitting here watching me faff around is probably the last thing you want to be doing on a Saturday morning. So I think that's what I will do. On my work surface, I've probably just shaken the living daylights out of you now. There we go. And we want to pop that one about there. It does come together eventually, it just takes me a while. Pop that one on there. I like that. And I did ink that, lovely. Just going to move that across a second while I just glue this one down. That's lovely. Oh shoot, I was going to put that, let me just peel that up a minute, because I was actually going to pop that down there, wasn't I? Oh no, I don't think I'm going to be able to do this. I might get away with it. I've ripped his foot off, look. Ripped his damned foot off, poor man. Is that going to work on there? Yeah, I think it will still work, and you won't be able to see what I've done with his foot. Okay, that one's going to go there. Lovely. And now I'm just going to use a bit of Fabri-Tac glue to pop this little bit of lace down. Like, oh, like so. Ouch, that hurt. And then we're going to pop that on there. Like that. There we go. And now I'm just going to pop a little bit of glue under here, just to stick this label back down onto there. And I'm going to cut these bits off. Where's my big old scissors? It's not over far enough. I don't want it really hanging over the edge too much. That's nice. Okay, I can live with that. Trim that down there and trim that one down there. I actually really like that. See, things do come together eventually. It just takes me a while. So that's that one. I'm going to round these corners. Don't think that's going to go through the rounder somehow. Maybe not. I think I might have to round that by hand. So I'm going to round that. That wasn't a bad effort. And then round here. There we go. Okay. Nice. Oh, I haven't trimmed the ticket. Let's trim off the ticket. Let's get that bit of... There we go. I've just booked tickets as well for the Craftorama show next weekend. So looking forward to that. Probably going to end up spending a fortune, but that's fine. We can live with that. And there's me doing a stash busting session, and I'm going to be running off to buy some more stash. There we go. That's quite nice. I'm happy with the way that one's turned out now. Good. So I'm going to pop that under there to dry. Right, what I'm now going to do is I am going to finish these two. I'm going to finish these two off camera so that I'm not boring you to death with waiting for me to finish them or to decide what I'm doing. As you can see, my thought process is extremely laborious. So I'll get these done and I will come back and I will show you them all completed. Okay, so see you. Okay, and we're back. So I've completed the ones that I set out to do, and I've done another couple as well. So I'll just share those with you. I'm actually quite pleased with how they've all turned out. So the larger ones, this was one of the ones that you saw me doing. Very pleased with how that's turned out. I like the lace down there. I think it adds a little bit of something to it, and it's kind of a story there. The gentleman is taking the lady out for a leisure hour. He's got tickets for something. There's a cotton spool there, which gives the impression that, you know, she's used it to kind of either mend or make her dress for the evening. So I kind of like that one. And then this one, another little story. The lady is waiting for a loved one to come back from sea. She's got letters from him, and her friends are consoling her while she's waiting for news of him. And then this one and this one go together. This is I think this is the King and Queen of Denmark, a long time ago. So I've kept those kind of similar to use as a pair in a journal. And then this one, I don't really have a story for this one. This one is just a lady out for a walk, and I've put a few bits and pieces on there, things that she might see on her walk, like the roses and the leaves and butterflies. Yeah, quite like that one too. And then out of them all, I think this little one turned out to be my favourite. This is a little girl feeding a brother or sister, who in the page that I took it off is in bed poorly, but actually the way I visualise it is that they're having their dinner and then they're going to have a little dance round and have a little play after dinner. And I've used the little, what are these, musical notes, just to give the indication that it's a happy and that there's going to be dancing afterwards, which I thought was really sweet. So very pleased with those. So that's it. So that's today's Stash Buster. I hope you like them. I'm quite pleased with how they've turned out. These were really old pages from a book which I've utilised, and I really like the way that that it's all come together. It took me a little while, but we got there in the end. If you like it, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. Look forward to seeing you all again soon for another Stash Busting Saturday. And thank you very much for your time today. Bye, guys.